This week in history.
Three, two, one, zero, and liftoff.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
All right, Johnny, so this week it's Halloween, and I got a whole episode about Halloween.
Is it all
and the
spooky
ghosts
stuff?
And ghouls and no, just the history of Halloween.
Oh. Alright.
I just disappointed Johnny, and now he doesn't want to listen.
I thought it was gonna be a bunch of spooky stories or something that were like
This
true.
is our town of Halloween. This
All right.
is Halloween. Gotta stop it. Such a great. I know you hate that movie, Johnny, but I don't care. I love it. My wife hates it too.
It's just I mean it's just the
It's the
style it was
animation.
done in. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a thing
fine.
I have.
I get it.
I'm in the
I can see
minority.
it.
I get it.
So, Johnny, if you might be in high school dating a witch, you would know that Halloween is derived from the Celtic festival Samhain, where they would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off the evil spirits. That's your Disney fairy tale version of what Halloween was, but it goes a little bit deeper than that.
Oh,
So it's partially true that we are the Halloween celebrations are about Samhain,
Yeah.
but Samhain itself is a little bit Christianized and canonized about like what they were really going on.
you mean
So-
like the rest of history?
Yeah, pretty much. The Celtic people believe that the New Year was on November 1st, so they celebrated the whole New Year with the end of summer. They basically had winter and summer; those were their seasons. So November 1st marked the end of summer and marked the end of the harvest season. Yep. So they were afraid of the winter for logical reasons around 0 BC when your whole heat source is dependent upon a fire and your food source is dependent upon what you were able to grow before the winter. So, death isn't a stranger in the long, dark nights of winter. Winter is coming, Johnny. So they believed that the veil, that stupid, dumb, bullshit witch thing, veiled between the spirits and the real world, are the thinnest during the night before,
Sure. Yeah.
November 1st and the night before.
Yeah,
New
so
Year's.
it's easier to communicate within the spirit world on
Yep.
All Hallows
All that
Eve.
fun stuff.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah, everybody knows that. The spirits, they would believe, they believe the Celtics that the spirits would rise up, kill their crops that were left over, and kill their cattle and their piggies, so that they, over the winter they're going to starve.
Huh.
So these Celts, and by Celts I mean the English Isles. So you got Ireland, what is now England, Scotland, and northern France. These are the Celtic people.
Okay.
So they solved this problem by dressing up in animals' heads. So they would take their cow, slaughter it, put its head on them, light these big-ass bonfires. They would extinguish the fire in their houses, so all the hearths in their houses,
Yeah.
that supplied the heat and the cooking, all that fun stuff. They would extinguish those, light a big-ass bonfire, kill a cow, put the cow's head on their head, throw crops into the fire, throw live animals into the fire as a sacrifice to the spirits so that they don't kill the crops and the cows.
Hey, we're
Humans
afraid
were
that we're
really
gonna starve, so we're gonna take our food and sacrifice. Just throw it a whole ass animal.
The whole
not
ass animal on the
not
fire.
just a ear corn or a potato, a
No,
whole
like
ass
like-
goat.
Yep.
Just into the
Whole ass goat
into the flames.
into the fire.
Could feed a family for a week.
Nope,
No.
into the flames. Oh, the whole corn stalk into the flames. Fuck it. We don't need it. Like, what? Like, the
People are real
logic-
dumb.
The logic of early humans, man.
Real dumb. It's
I tell
it's
ya.
amazing that we've made it to where we're able to now just completely destroy the world in like 200 years. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We've done
Come a long
so
way.
good.
So after this party was over, which usually also consisted of drunken debauchery and orgies,
I mean, how
'Cause
could
you
it
can't-
not? You have an animal head on your head.
you can't have a pagan celebration without a couple of orgies.
Wait, so was the orgies where the phrase "grabbing the bull by the horns" came from?
You might be right. I'm going to go ahead. Historic hindsight says the grabbing the bull by the horns. It came from an orgy where you would grab the bull by the horn of the person in front of you that was
Right.
wearing the cow head. Yep.
On
yep.
their head. Yeah.
on
the
their
real
head. Yes, on
yeah.
their head. Yes. Yep. 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 Enter Christianity, Johnny. So when Rome entered,
It's always
it always goes to Christianity.
Christianity coming from the top ropes.
Gah! So when Rome entered the English Isles, they mixed their culture with the Celts. And when Christianity took over Rome, well, the Christians were upset with all the little Christian tots running to join the pagan Celtic celebrations of Samhain. They're like, listen, we can't have our kids grabbing no bulls by the horn.
That's insane.
Can't
They're
have
like, do you see the fun they're having? You can't have that. We hate it, and we have to make it stop.
Yep, sure do. Sure do. So in 1609, Pope Boniface IV created a holiday to honor Christian martyrs to be celebrated on May 13th. Which isn't great if you're trying to have that displace the whole, Halloween thing.
It's
Pope,
just
yeah,
it was 6 months different.
It's a little before. So Pope Boniface IV Pope Gregory III, seeing that all of his Catholic little babies running to the pagan holidays, decided to move Martyrs' Day to November 1st instead, and included the celebration for all the dead saints called All Saints' Day, which would be celebrated on November 2nd.
Great.
So, by the way, this was a complete ripoff of Samhain. And by complete ripoff, I mean they did everything that the pagans did, minus grab the bulls by the horn.
So
we'll sacrifice the goats, we'll sacrifice the corn, but you are not allowed to engage in orgies.
wait, Halloween's just celebrated because the Christians took pagan ideas and converted them into theirs to make pagans convert to them, or to associate themselves with it, the traditions.
Weird. It's so weird.
Well, the really weird thing is it's the only time they did that. They only did it for Halloween. You'd think they would do it for other
like Christmas.
Well, no, Christmas is fine because the evergreen was because of because it was a symbol of life, winter, conceal.
And the census in Rome was conducted.
And the giving the presents and everything was because of. Well, okay, but then there's Easter, which, of course, we paint eggs because they're a symbol of fertility and the coming of spring. And then,
Yay, pagans! Later, this holiday was moved to the 31st because the day before All Saints' Day became known as All Hallows' Eve. LOL, Halloween. Because basically what happened is the Christians can't have two bonfires so close together, and their bonfire was losing out to the Samhain bonfire because, one you get to grab the bull by the horn, the other one you don't.
Yeah, so, you got two parties to go to. One has an orgy.
Which one are you going to?
Make your choice. I don't know you, but
who wouldn't be for an orgy debauchery party, right?
Oh, and could you imagine the company that could be had at a pagan orgy with actual animal head 1606? I mean,
the smells, Johnny, the smells. So fast forward to America, because if you're listening from a foreign country, congratulations.
I mean, kudos.
America.
You have to be doing it to practice English, right? There's no
other reason to do it. But we do. We have foreign, even on YouTube. There's foreign listeners on all of our podcast streams. There's for some reason foreign listeners, in random countries too. I don't.
They're.
Shout out to our German friends. The Germans.
If you're not clicking it on accident, thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here. And if you are clicking it on accident, I'll help you stay and enjoy. So in the United States, Halloween was pretty much always celebrated. And by always celebrated, I mean not really, because if you lived in New England in the Protestant, world where they thought witches were real and were burning them at the stake and hanging them.
You're not going to be celebrating it there?
Like in Salem, Massachusetts.
They're not,
yeah, where dancing was the devil. Yeah, they weren't celebrating it there so much. But in the southern provinces, in Maryland and the southern colonies, hey, Samhain, we're all there. We're good to go.
So where did the candy thing come from?
I'm getting there, Johnny.
Is that are we coming up to trick-or-treating?
So this is going to sound awful.
Is this going to be some Great Depression bullshit?
No.
Okay.
I cannot change history. I have to report it as it is. So if there's some stereotypes that exist or things that happen, it is not my fault.
Tommy,
So the great
I don't know what you're talking about, but you can choose your words carefully.
so the great potato famine in Ireland led to a bunch of Irish immigrants coming to the United States, who are also, descendants of the Celtic people. And they
Yeah.
brought with them some of their traditions.
Uh-huh.
And there was a tradition to go house to house, begging for food and money on Samhain.
Mm-hmm.
So
So they did.
So they did. So they started going house to house, begging for money and food. Not candy though. Not candy. Just money
Sure.
and food.
Yeah.
In the late 1800s.
They didn't have potatoes. They weren't about to go around asking for candy. They're looking for something to really eat.
Yeah, pretty much. In the late 1800s, they tried to make the American people, you know, the powers that be,
Yep.
because we are not an oligarchy or anything like that. The powers that be decided that they wanted to make Halloween a more community-based event because drunken orgy debaucheries are not community enough.
I mean, how can you be more? I guess you have to like. There was someone was like, think of the children, type.
Think of the
thing, like,
somebody was thinking of the
they
children.
have to be
They
able
wanted
to do something during these orgies.
well, they wanted less witches, less dead, and less going door to door begging for food. And so they encouraged the newspapers for everybody to take anything frightening and grotesque out of Halloween celebrations, but have massive community celebrations. So they would, like, the whole town would get together and have a big party of no candy, no booze, lame, right?
Yeah, what kind
Well,
of lame ass party is this?
A lame ass party. And because it's a lame ass party, they were reeked with vandalism so bad that in the 1920s, the
Is this
community
when people
parties
started
and
TP and
festivals were
shit?
like, yes, were like vandalized with toilet papering, graffitiing crap, throwing trash around, all that fun stuff, dressing up as goblins and going trick or treat, booing and scaring people, all that crap. Like you had the anti-community movement coming around, destroying the community movement. Enter the 1950s, Johnny.
Oh God.
Because the massive baby boom made most of these Halloween celebrations kind of impossible to do as a whole city. Like, we gotten kind of big. We have all these kids running around. So let's limit the celebrations to schools or in your own home. Like, invite your own family to come over. We don't need
Do
it to
your
be
own
as
damn
much of the community.
celebration that we just made up a little bit ago to make you do.
And to curb vandalism, it was also to curb the whole vandalism, like, go to your own house. And, like, they're not going to vandalize everybody's house with toilet paper, so just have a party in your own house.
I can't kill us all, folks. What a shit mentality.
In an attempt to gear it back towards kids in the 1950s, that's when trick-or-treating really became popular again with the whole candy movement, because now in the 50s, we birthed all these kids from World War II, all the soldiers coming back. We all had 50 kids. Fuck, let's hop them up on sugar the night before so mommy and daddy can go get drunk at our parties.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
It makes sense, and which is pretty much exactly where we are today, except for this year because, well, COVID. And speaking of COVID, in 1918, during this week, and a non-Halloween related thing, in our Halloween related special, 20,000 people would die in a single week in the United States due to the Spanish flu.
Oh.
So, history!
Man, could you imagine if like 20,000 people died from something in a single week in 2020? Like the reaction would be insane from the government. Things would be going like shut down. Like they would respond so strongly to something that catastrophic. And that's this week in history.